Long ago, in a quiet Vietnamese village, there lived a young man who was thin and frail, with a body that seemed almost too small for farm work. The villagers often scoffed at him, believing he was destined for nothing of importance. When other young men lifted sacks of rice or carried heavy logs with ease, he could only manage small tasks, often relying on his sharp tongue and quick wit. People whispered, "That boy can only talk. He has no strength at all." Yet deep inside, the young man held a conviction that separated him from the rest. He believed that true power lay not in bulging muscles or towering height, but in the mind, in the ability to think, to plan, to survive when strength alone would fail. Often, he sat by the rice fields, gazing at sparrows darting through the sky, whispering to himself, "They may laugh at me now, but wisdom will always outlast brute strength." His chance to prove this belief came one fateful day, when destiny forced him to confront a danger that no villager dared face: a hungry tiger lurking in the forest. From that encounter, the tale of "Here is my wisdom" was born, a story that would echo through generations. One morning, the young man ventured into the forest with his small axe to gather firewood. The forest was heavy with silence, broken only by the crunch of dry leaves underfoot and the occasional cry of birds. As he bent to chop a fallen branch, a thunderous roar split the air. From a tangle of undergrowth, a massive tiger emerged, its golden fur gleaming, eyes burning like embers, teeth sharp as blades. Each step it took shook the ground, and its breath steamed in the morning chill. The tiger's voice rumbled, "Little human, so weak, so fragile. Look at my strength, my claws, my fangs. I could tear you apart in a heartbeat. What do humans have that makes them so proud?" The young man froze, his heart pounding so hard it threatened to leap from his chest. Terror gripped him, but even within that fear, his mind raced. And in the midst of that danger, an idea sparked. A plan that would save him, if only he dared to speak it aloud. Summoning every shred of courage, the young man steadied his trembling voice. He looked directly into the tiger's blazing eyes and declared, "It's true, you are stronger than us, but humans do not live by strength alone. We survive because we have wisdom. Wisdom guides us, keeps us alive, and allows us to tame this world." The tiger's ears twitched, and its growl softened into curiosity. "Wisdom?" it repeated. "I have never seen it. If it is real, show it to me at once." The young man pretended to hesitate, as though burdened by the tiger's demand. Then he answered, "Wisdom is not something I can carry with me. It is kept at my house. If you truly want to see it, I must return to fetch it." The tiger narrowed its eyes suspiciously, drawing closer. "Are you trying to escape me?" The forest grew still, every sound fading under the weight of the tiger's question. But the young man was ready with another clever turn, his mind sharper than ever in the shadow of death. Keeping his voice calm, the young man replied smoothly, "If I wished to escape, you could easily hunt me down. But if I go now, who will protect the villagers' cattle from you? You might feast on them before I return. That would make you look greedy and dishonorable." The tiger thought on this, and pride swelled in its chest. Surely, a creature so powerful needed no tricks to catch prey. A bit of rope would be nothing to fear. At last it nodded. "Very well. Bind me if that will put your feeble heart at ease. Then go and bring me this wisdom you speak of." The young man bowed gratefully and hurried to use the ropes he carried for bundling wood. Round and round, he wound the cords, tying the tiger tightly against the trunk of a great tree. His hands moved with care, his face calm, yet his eyes sparkled with hidden mischief. The tiger waited, smug in its strength, oblivious to the trap now closing firmly around it. As the ropes bit deep into its fur, the tiger began to shift uneasily. It tugged and growled, its tail lashing. "Enough waiting!" it roared. "Go now, fetch this wisdom and return quickly. Do not test my patience." The young man bowed again, feigning obedience. He turned and hurried down the path. But in his heart he whispered, "This is the moment. Wisdom is not a thing I can fetch. It is the fire of thought, the spark of survival." His feet carried him toward a bundle of straw and the flame he had kindled earlier. If strength could not free him, then fire, the gift of humanity since ancient times, would be his true weapon. With a torch burning bright in hand, he prepared to teach the arrogant tiger the lesson of a lifetime. When the young man returned, his hands held nothing but a blazing torch. The fire crackled, spitting sparks that lit the shadows around them. The tiger narrowed its eyes. "Is this the wisdom you promised me? A fragile flame? What power lies in such a thing?" The young man smiled quietly, offering no reply. Instead, he pressed the torch into dry straw, piled at the base of the tree. In seconds, the fire roared to life, tongues of flame racing upward, wrapping around trunk and rope alike. Heat swelled, sparks flew, and smoke curled thick in the air. The tiger's roar of confidence twisted into a cry of fear. It thrashed, pulling against the ropes, but the fire licked closer, searing its golden coat. The young man stepped back, his eyes reflecting the firelight, and whispered in his heart, "Here is my wisdom, not in strength, but in the mind that dares to think differently." The flames burned hotter, ropes snapping one by one. At last, with a mighty wrench, the tiger broke free. But it did not leap upon the young man as before. Instead, it howled in pain, its body scorched, black stripes seared across its once golden fur. In panic, it fled into the depths of the forest, its cries echoing long after its body disappeared into the shadows. From that day on, all tigers bore those dark stripes, eternal marks of the fire and of human cunning. The villagers would one day point to those stripes and say, "There lies the proof of wisdom triumphant over brute strength." When the young man returned home, he told his story. At first, the villagers laughed in disbelief, but soon whispers spread. Someone had seen the tiger fleeing through the fields, its back charred with strange black stripes. Eyes widened and laughter turned to awe. The villagers gathered, murmuring, "So it is true, wisdom has conquered the beast." Never again did they mock the frail youth. Instead, they looked to him with respect. And in the evenings, when the sky grew dim, children crowded around him, begging to hear the tale once more. How a young man with nothing but cleverness outwitted a mighty tiger. That story, told again and again, began to take root in the heart of the village. From that day forward, the young man no longer carried the weight of mockery. He became known as the clever one, the bringer of wisdom. At the communal courtyard, beneath the shade of ancient trees, he sat surrounded by children whose eager eyes shone with wonder. Patiently he retold his encounter, each detail a lesson that courage and cunning were stronger than any claw or fang. Even the elders nodded, acknowledging the truth they had once dismissed. His tale had grown into something more than survival. It was a lesson for the entire community, a truth passed from one generation to the next. And so the story closes with a timeless lesson. True strength does not lie in claws or muscles, but in wisdom and courage. Those who rely only on brute force will always fall to those who can think. Thus, the tale of Here Is My Wisdom spread from village to village, carried across generations. becoming part of Vietnam's treasured folklore. A reminder that intellect, not sheer might, is the greatest weapon of all.